Dr. Valerie Moore promised the kind of breakthrough people wait their whole lives for. She marketed the Back to Acts conference as a transformational weekend packed with clarity, healing, purpose, and spiritual realignment. But once the doors opened, many attendees said they walked into something far different from what they expected. And with big names like Juanita Bynum and Brandon Jacobs attached, the fallout quickly grew into one of the loudest controversies the faith-based space has seen this year. The Back to Acts conference was introduced as a life-changing, once-in-a-year chance to experience deep spiritual coaching from the most respected voices in the empowerment world. The promotion was everywhere: Instagram posts, email blasts, countdown stories, influencer shoutouts, and testimonials from people who had attended Dr. Moore's previous gatherings. The marketing made it look impossible to miss. It wasn't just another event, it was advertised as an awakening, something that would shift your mindset, your finances, and your spiritual stability. With Juanita Bynum and Brandon Jacobs highlighted as the main attractions, excitement skyrocketed. Both of them have strong followings and reputations built on powerful messages, emotional insight, and decades of ministry and motivational work. Their involvement made the event appear legitimate and trustworthy. People didn't just buy tickets, they bought into the idea that this weekend would change the direction of their lives. But from the moment attendees arrived, something felt off. Reports claimed that registration was a mess. People stood in long lines with little communication from staff. Some said badges weren't ready, names weren't on lists, and VIP attendees who paid hundreds or even thousands more waited just as long, confused about where they were supposed to go. What should have been a smooth welcome turned into frustration before the conference even began. Workshops started late. Schedules didn't match what was advertised online. Some sessions were canceled entirely with no warning, leaving people pacing the hallways trying to figure out what was happening. Instead of clarity, there was chaos. Some attendees even said the energy in the room felt uneasy, as if the organizers were scrambling behind the scenes to keep things from falling apart. It didn't take long for social media to erupt. Attendees pulled out their phones and posted videos, screenshots, and live reactions to what they were experiencing. At first, it was small complaints, late sessions, unclear directions, missing staff, but as the day continued, the tone shifted. People began to wonder whether the event had been oversold, mismanaged, or worse, designed to overpromise without delivering anything close to the expectations set by the marketing. What upset many people the most were the VIP perks that didn't happen as promised. These packages were expensive. Some included private meet and greets with Juanita Bynum and Brandon Jacobs, early access to sessions, exclusive workshops, and personalized guidance. But attendees claimed these moments were rushed, shortened, or canceled entirely. A few said they paid for one-on-one time and ended up in crowded rooms where the speakers barely made eye contact. Others reported long lines for sessions that were supposed to be intimate and limited. The frustration grew as people realized they weren't getting what they paid for. Inside the sessions, opinions were mixed. Some attendees said they experienced powerful spiritual moments and emotional breakthroughs, but others reported that the sermons felt repetitive, the messages unclear, and the exercises rushed. Some described the talks as generic motivational speeches rather than the deep guidance they had been promised. The more people shared their disappointment, the more the online conversation exploded. Then came the financial concerns. Screenshots of emails and payment confirmations began circulating on X and TikTok. People questioned additional fees they were charged, packages they didn't receive, and coaching sessions that were advertised but never scheduled. Those who tried emailing customer support reported long delays or no response at all. Attendees claimed they messaged the organizers repeatedly, only to be left in silence. That silence made everything look worse. As frustration intensified, social media turned into a courtroom. Posts using tags like #BackToActScam, #RefundMe, and #Where'sMyMoney started trending. Some influencers who originally promoted the event came forward saying they had no idea the behind-the-scenes situation was this chaotic. Others filmed breakdown videos discussing the growing discrepancies between the ads and the actual experience. Nobody could ignore the noise anymore. The conference had become a full-blown online controversy. This is where Juanita Bynum and Brandon Jacobs were thrust into the middle of everything. Even though there were no claims that they intentionally misled anyone, Their silence didn't help. While attendees were begging for answers, both speakers continued posting polished photos, professional highlights, and general inspirational messages. To some, it looked like they were ignoring the backlash. To others, it seemed like they were carefully avoiding getting involved in the discussion. Fans started debating. Were the speakers unaware of the chaos? Were they kept in the dark? Did they simply show up, speak, and leave without knowing how disorganized the rest of the conference was? Nobody had answers. And without any statements from the speakers themselves, rumors spread quickly. But everything took a new turn when alleged insiders started talking. Anonymous staff members, former volunteers, and people familiar with past events began hinting that what attendees experienced wasn't new. According to these claims, previous conferences, hosted by Valerie Moore, had also faced complaints about unclear organization and unmet promises. Some said they tried to warn people in the past but were ignored. Others described a pattern of last-minute planning and overselling packages that couldn't realistically be fulfilled. These insider accounts, whether accurate or exaggerated, added fuel to the fire and shifted the conversation even further. As more information spread, people online began questioning whether the conference was simply poorly organized or if it was intentionally set up in a way that prioritized profit over genuine transformation. No concrete evidence emerged, but the speculation continued growing, especially because the organizers remained silent. Silence in moments like these can often sound like confirmation, even when it isn't. Meanwhile, some attendees defended the event, posting videos about the positive impact the messages had on their lives. They shared emotional moments, new friendships, networking opportunities, and spiritual insights they gained during the weekend. Their stories were drowned out by the louder wave of criticism. But they highlighted one important truth. People didn't all walk away with the same experience. For some, the event fell apart. For others, it opened a meaningful door. As days passed, the refund situation became the center of the controversy. People posted entire email chains showing unanswered refund requests, delayed replies, or confusing instructions that led nowhere. VIP attendees were especially vocal, insisting that they deserved compensation for the experiences they never received. Those who tried contacting the organizers through social media were often met with silence or generic automated messages. Dr. Valerie Moore remained almost entirely quiet, posting only short, vague statements, thanking attendees for joining the journey and encouraging them to continue seeking growth. But she never addressed the growing backlash directly, never explained the confusion, and never responded to the complaints circulating across every platform. This lack of transparency made the situation even more intense. People started speculating that legal action might be happening behind the scenes. Private emails, consultations, and potential disputes. Nothing was confirmed. But the idea that something serious was occurring only kept the controversy alive. Even Juanita Bynum and Brandon Jacobs, though not accused of wrongdoing, experienced public scrutiny. Their names were tied to the event, and people questioned whether they should have done deeper research before attaching themselves to a conference that would become this controversial. Everyone involved, whether they intended to or not, was now part of a viral storm. And through all of this, a larger conversation emerged within the faith and motivational world. People questioned how events like these should be marketed. They discussed the dangers of overhyping spiritual experiences and charging high prices without ensuring quality. Trust in this space is fragile, and when expectations aren't met, the backlash is unavoidable. Some saw the conference as a cautionary tale about putting too much faith in personalities instead of verifying what's actually being offered. Others defended the event, insisting that one messy conference doesn't erase the positive work the speakers have done over the years. No matter which side people fell on, one thing was clear. This controversy wasn't just about a weekend gone wrong. It was about accountability. It was about transparency. It was about trust. And even now, the story hasn't fully closed. Rumors continue swirling about behind the scenes, conversations, apologies being drafted, private meetings happening, unresolved disputes still being discussed. None of it is confirmed, but the speculation alone has kept the story alive. In the end, the Back to Acts conference became a dramatic reminder of how quickly a highly promoted event can unravel when expectations aren't met. It wasn't just a disappointment for Summit, became a viral lesson about hype,